Most people think their suffering comes from a difficult life, from problems that won't go away, people who disappoint them, or plans that fall apart. But beneath all of that is something far more exhausting, a constant inner struggle against what is already happening. Every time reality doesn't match your expectations, the mind tightens. It replays, resists, demands, and argues. This quiet resistance drains more energy than the problem itself. Not because life is cruel, but because the mind keeps insisting that the present moment should be different. In this video, you'll discover why peace doesn't come from fixing life, controlling outcomes, or forcing clarity. You'll learn how letting go of inner resistance changes the way you experience everything, without giving up, without becoming passive, and without escaping life. Lesson 1. Suffering begins with resistance. In Buddhist philosophy, suffering is not created by life itself, but by the way the mind reacts to life. Pain is unavoidable. The body feels discomfort. The heart feels loss. The mind encounters uncertainty. These experiences are part of being alive. The Buddha never taught that life could be made painless. What he revealed instead was something far more liberating. Pain is natural, but suffering is optional. Suffering begins at the exact moment the mind refuses the present experience. A quiet but powerful thought appears almost instantly. This should not be happening. That single sentence creates inner conflict. The mind tightens around the moment, resisting what already exists. The body follows. Breathing becomes shallow. Thoughts accelerate. What was once a simple, painful experience now expands into stress, anxiety, and exhaustion. In Buddhist psychology, this resistance is the true source of suffering. The Buddha described this mechanism through the second noble truth. Suffering arises from craving and aversion. We crave pleasant experiences and push away unpleasant ones. We demand comfort, certainty, and control from a world that is constantly changing. When reality fails to meet these demands, the mind goes to war with the moment. This war cannot be won. Reality does not argue back. It simply continues. And the mind grows tired from fighting what already is. Imagine being caught in the rain. The rain is pain. It is cold and uncomfortable. But suffering begins when the mind says this should not be happening. I should be somewhere else. This ruins everything. The rain remains the same, yet the inner experience becomes far heavier. Buddhism teaches that suffering grows not from the rain itself, but from the refusal to accept it. This teaching does not ask you to suppress emotions or deny pain. Acceptance in Buddhism is not weakness, it is wisdom. When resistance softens, energy returns. The mind stops wasting strength on inner conflict. Pain may still be present, but it no longer dominates the entire inner world. Life hurts, but resistance turns hurt into suffering. When the mind stops arguing with reality, suffering loses its fuel. And in that moment of non-resistance, a quiet sense of peace begins to emerge. Not because life changed, but because the mind finally stopped fighting it. Lesson 2. The illusion of control. In modern life, it feels natural to believe that safety and success come from control. We plan our days down to the last minute, predict the behavior of others, and try to arrange circumstances so nothing goes wrong. We check, double-check, and hold tightly to every aspect of our lives, believing that by gripping harder, we are protecting ourselves. On the surface, control seems like strength, a shield against uncertainty. Yet Buddhism teaches that this sense of security is an illusion. The tighter we cling to outcomes, the more fragile and anxious we become. Every attempt to control life carries its own hidden cost. When a plan falters, a relationship shifts, or time moves slower or faster than expected, the mind reacts with frustration, fear, and tension. We feel powerless in the face of what we cannot command, and suffering arises not from life itself, but from our insistence that it conform to our wishes. Like trying to hold water in a closed fist, the harder we squeeze, the more it slips away. Our need for certainty becomes a trap, turning what could be fluid moments of experience into tight, exhausting battles with reality. Buddhism calls attention to the mind's craving for control as a source of suffering. We cling to comfort, stability, and predictable outcomes, believing that if we secure these things, we can avoid pain. But impermanence is the nature of life. People change, circumstances shift, success and failure alternate. The more we resist this flow, the more vulnerable we feel. Control, in truth, is not strength. It is fear wearing armor. It is the mind attempting to defend itself from the inevitable. The path of wisdom is not about letting go of responsibility, but about releasing the illusion that life can be fully commanded. Taking action becomes lighter and more effective when it is rooted in awareness rather than compulsion. By loosening the grip, we create space for clarity, adaptability, and calm. Life becomes less a battlefield to fight and more a river to navigate. In this space, uncertainty ceases to be threatening, and peace is no longer dependent on outcomes. Strength emerges not from domination, but from trust, presence, and the courage to let life unfold as it will. Lesson 3. Impermanence isn't the problem. Life is constantly changing, whether we notice it or not. The seasons shift, relationships evolve, our bodies age, and our thoughts rise and fall like waves in the ocean. In Buddhist philosophy, this is impermanence, the natural flow of existence. Change is neutral. It is neither good nor bad. It simply is. Yet most of our suffering arises not from change itself, but from the mind's refusal to accept it. We cling to moments, people, and experiences, acting as though anything could remain permanent. And when reality inevitably shifts, we feel as if the ground beneath us has crumbled. Consider the way most people live, constantly trying to preserve the past, hold on to achievements, or force the future to behave as imagined. Every disappointment is amplified because it confronts our belief that life should stay the same. In truth, nothing is breaking. It is just changing. This subtle shift in perspective is at the heart of Buddhist wisdom. When we see change as the natural rhythm of existence, fear and frustration begin to soften. Resistance, which magnifies suffering, becomes unnecessary. The current of life does not threaten us. It invites us to flow with it. Impermanence also holds the secret to life's beauty. A sunset is breathtaking precisely because it will end. A fleeting conversation, a shared laugh, a moment of clarity, all are precious because they do not last forever. Buddhist philosophy teaches that attachment to permanence is what creates anxiety, regret, and grief. By aligning with movement rather than fighting it, we stop resisting what is and begin to experience life fully in each passing moment. Awareness of impermanence frees the mind from futile control and opens the heart to acceptance. The practice of embracing change does not mean passivity or indifference. It means acting with wisdom while letting outcomes unfold naturally. We invest in relationships, work toward goals, and pursue growth, but without clutching the results. In this space, we discover resilience, adaptability, and peace. Life continues to move, but we no longer resist the flow. Nothing is breaking. It is just changing, and when we align with this truth, suffering loses its grip, and the quiet freedom of presence becomes available to us in every moment. Lesson 4. Letting go is not losing. Many people misunderstand what it means to let go. They think it is giving up, abandoning effort, or stepping away from life. Buddhist philosophy shows that this could not be further from the truth. Letting go does not mean avoiding responsibility or withdrawing from love, work, or growth. It means releasing the mind's insistence that life must follow a particular path, that outcomes must meet our expectations. It is the difference between clinging and engaging fully, without the heavy weight of attachment. When we demand that life unfold exactly as we imagine, every change or setback becomes a source of suffering. A failed plan, a rejected opportunity, or a shifting relationship feels catastrophic because the mind is locked into how things should be. Letting go shifts this perspective. It allows us to act, to love, to pursue, and to dream, but without the pressure that the result must conform to our desires. This is a subtle but profound freedom. The energy once spent resisting reality is now available for presence, clarity, and compassion. Buddhist teachings emphasize that attachment is the root of suffering. When we cling, we are trapped in a mental prison of expectation, fear, and control. Letting go is not abandoning life. It is stepping out of that prison. You still engage with your work, your relationships, and your ambitions, but without gripping them so tightly that their movement or outcome defines your peace. You act with intention, but your happiness no longer depends on securing a fixed result. This is where true resilience begins. The ability to navigate life's uncertainty with a steady heart. Imagine holding a bird in your hand. The tighter you grip, the more it struggles. The more it struggles, the more you fear it will fly away. But if you open your hands, the bird can stay, fly, or return as it chooses. Letting go works the same way with life. You do not let go of life itself. You let go of how you think it must unfold. This subtle release transforms anxiety into acceptance, resistance into flow, and fear into courage. In practice, letting go creates space for more meaningful engagement. You can love fully without suffocating. You can work diligently without obsession. You can pursue dreams without being crushed by failure. By releasing the need for a predetermined outcome, life becomes lighter, more flexible, and surprisingly peaceful. Letting go is not losing. It is reclaiming the freedom to live, to feel, and to act with presence, clarity, and joy, no matter what unfolds. Lesson 5. Love without attachment. Love is one of the most powerful forces in life, yet it is often misunderstood. In Buddhist philosophy, attachment and love are not the same. Attachment turns love into fear. When we cling to people, expecting them to meet our needs, behave in certain ways, or stay with us forever, love becomes a source of anxiety rather than joy. Fear begins to creep in. Fear of loss, fear of change, fear of being abandoned. This fear drives us to control, manipulate, or restrict those we care about, all in the name of holding on. The tighter we hold, the more fragile the connection feels. The more we attempt to guarantee security, the more tension grows. Relationships that could have been sources of growth, understanding, and shared joy instead become battlegrounds for expectation. The love that was once free begins to suffocate. Buddhist teachings reveal a profound truth. Love cannot thrive in chains. It cannot be forced, possessed, or owned. Love that is bound to fear is no longer love. It is a projection of the mind's insecurities. True love, according to Buddhist philosophy, is freedom. It is the ability to love without needing to control the other person or the outcome. It is a deep, unwavering presence that allows another to be fully themselves while still cherishing them wholeheartedly. This does not mean detachment in the sense of indifference. It is not cold or distant. It is the recognition that each person is their own being, with their own path, choices, and experiences. When we release the need to control, we make room for connection to deepen naturally. Love becomes less about possession and more about presence. Imagine holding a flower. If you grip it tightly, trying to preserve its form forever, its petals will bruise and wilt. But if you hold it gently, with awareness and care, it can bloom fully, freely, and beautifully. Relationships work the same way. The moment we stop trying to control, to cling, or to predict, we allow love to breathe. We allow trust, understanding, and compassion to grow. When love is free, it is stronger, more resilient, and more genuine. Practicing love without attachment also transforms the way we relate to ourselves. It teaches patience, acceptance, and empathy. We stop measuring our worth by the responses of others. We stop defining happiness by possession, expectation, or outcomes. Instead, we learn to engage fully with each moment, with each interaction, appreciating its impermanence and beauty. Freedom, in this sense, is not just the absence of fear. It is the presence of connection, clarity, and calm. Love doesn't need ownership. It needs space. When we embody this teaching, relationships cease to be a source of suffering and become a source of growth, intimacy, and joy. Fear dissolves, control loosens, and connection flourishes. In letting go of attachment, we do not lose love. We gain the ability to experience it fully, freely, and without compromise, creating bonds that are unshakable, not because they are forced, but because they are allowed to exist naturally and authentically. Lesson 6. The present moment is enough. Most of the suffering we carry is not in the moments we are living. It is in the shadows of what might happen, or what has already happened. Anxiety blooms in imagined futures, painting vivid scenarios of failure, loss, or disappointment. Regret lingers in replayed pasts, dragging old mistakes, lost opportunities, and unfinished conversations into the present. The mind becomes a theater of imagined pain, and we are trapped in performances that exist nowhere but in thought. Buddhism reminds us that the present moment is the only reality that truly exists, the only space where life is alive and accessible. Imagine a person walking through a beautiful forest while their mind races ahead to worry about a meeting or lingers on a past argument. The sunlight filters through the leaves, birds sing, the air carries the scent of moss and earth, yet none of this touches them. They are elsewhere, lost in stories their mind has constructed. The richness of the present is ignored, unnoticed, and unlived. The Buddha observed these centuries ago. Life unfolds moment by moment, yet most people miss it because attention is elsewhere. Peace cannot be found in the past or the future because those places are illusions. The present moment is the only place where freedom, clarity, and awareness arise. Buddhism does not instruct us to meditate in silence for hours or detach from life to access this truth. Instead, it invites a subtle shift in perception. Simply notice what is happening now. The sound of your breath, the sensation of your feet on the ground, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the texture of a conversation. When attention rests in the now, the imagined worlds of anxiety and regret lose their hold. The moment becomes complete in itself. Nothing is missing from this moment except your attention. When you stop chasing the future or clinging to the past, the present unfolds fully, rich with clarity, and free from the weight of imagined suffering. This is not about escaping responsibility or ignoring challenges. The present moment contains everything needed for action, reflection, and growth. By anchoring in what is, you see circumstances clearly, make decisions from calm, and respond with wisdom rather than reaction. The energy once consumed by regret or worry becomes available to engage fully with life. Even in moments of discomfort, the present can hold a surprising depth of peace. This is the quiet revolution of mindfulness in Buddhist thought. Life is never lacking. What is missing is not outside of you. It is simply your presence, your attention, your willingness to inhabit the now. By aligning with the present, we discover that life is already sufficient. Each moment is complete. Each breath contains clarity. Each interaction carries the potential for connection and understanding. Anxiety softens, regret fades, and the constant striving to fix what cannot be fixed loosens its grip. In this space, the mind becomes clear, the heart opens, and the quiet assurance emerges that everything we need is here. The present moment is enough, and when we step fully into it, we step fully into life itself. Lesson 7. Trusting life's timing. In modern life, we are trained to act, fix, and control. Every problem seems like it has a solution waiting to be implemented. Every delay feels like a failure. Every uncertainty is a call to take action. Yet, Buddhism teaches a different kind of intelligence. The intelligence of timing, patience, and trust. Not everything needs fixing. Some moments, some challenges, and some changes require nothing from us but allowing. The mind wants to hurry life, to force clarity, to manufacture outcomes, but wisdom often arrives quietly, in its own time, when effort ceases and presence deepens. Consider how often we have tried to force answers. We overthink relationships, chase career milestones, or push ourselves into growth before the ground beneath us is ready. In the process, we create unnecessary tension, frustration, and exhaustion. Life has a rhythm, a natural unfolding that does not always align with the clock or the calendar. Buddhist philosophy reminds us that clarity does not come through relentless effort. It comes through stillness, through the quiet willingness to observe, accept, and engage with what is, rather than what we want it to be. Trusting life's timing is not passive resignation. It is a subtle, profound identity shift. Instead of defining ourselves by the speed of outcomes or the immediate resolution of problems, we begin to see ourselves as participants in a living, unfolding process. We notice that challenges, delays, and uncertainties are not obstacles to our peace, but teachers guiding us toward deeper understanding. When we stop forcing, we begin to notice patterns, insights, and solutions that were invisible in the noise of effort and anxiety. Patience becomes a form of intelligence, and allowing becomes a powerful action. There is a quiet power in surrendering the need to control everything. When we release the insistence that life must bend to our will, we open space for clarity, creativity, and wisdom. The mind stops spinning with endless calculations, and the heart relaxes. Answers often arrive in moments of stillness, in meditation, in reflection, in pauses between action. We notice a sudden understanding, an unexpected insight, or a sense of calm that was impossible when the mind was forcing, pushing, and striving. Buddhist teachings call this aligning with the natural flow of life, a flow that is inherently wise and infinitely patient. This trust extends to all areas of life: relationships, work, personal growth, and inner transformation. Sometimes the best step forward is not doing more, but noticing more. Sometimes the right answer is not found in effort, but in letting the present moment fully speak for itself. By allowing life to unfold, we stop resisting the natural rhythm, and we stop confusing activity with progress. Every delay, every challenge, every uncertainty is an invitation to develop patience, presence, and faith in timing greater than our own. Clarity doesn't arrive through effort. It arrives through stillness. When we embody this principle, we transform our relationship with life itself. We are no longer controlled by impatience, fear, or frustration. We are guided by presence, trust, and wisdom. Life continues to move, but we move with it, not against it. In trusting life's timing, we step into a deeper identity, one that sees that everything unfolds exactly when it is ready, and that peace, understanding, and freedom are always available, not in the future, but here, in this unfolding moment. Life often feels like a battle. We wrestle with circumstances, try to bend outcomes to our will, and demand that reality match our expectations. But Buddhist wisdom shows a different path. You were never meant to wrestle life into submission. The constant struggle, the endless pushing and resisting, only deepens suffering. True peace does not arrive when everything goes according to plan. It arrives when we soften enough to move with life instead of against it. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. It is a quiet, unshakable confidence. It is the understanding that life is unfolding exactly as it should, even when it feels messy, uncertain, or slow. When we stop demanding that everything go right, we stop fighting the natural rhythm of existence. We stop pouring energy into resistance and start using it to cultivate awareness, presence, and compassion. The mind becomes calm, the heart open, and even in challenging moments, a subtle sense of freedom emerges. Each lesson in this journey, surrendering resistance, releasing the illusion of control, embracing impermanence, practicing non-attachment, loving without ownership, resting in the present, and trusting life's timing, points to the same truth. Life is not something to dominate. It is a flow to be navigated with grace. Peace is not a reward for perfect conditions. It is the natural result of aligning with reality rather than fighting it. When we let go of fear, expectation, and obsession with outcomes, we discover a freedom that is constant, regardless of circumstance. Letting go is not giving up, and trusting life is not passive. It is a practice of courage, presence, and wisdom. It is the understanding that the universe, like a patient teacher, has its own timing, and clarity arrives not through effort, but through stillness. In every breath, in every moment, in every interaction, we can practice this quiet confidence. Life is moving. We are moving. And in this movement, when we stop resisting, we find that we were always supported, always guided, and always exactly where we are meant to be. Letting go isn't weakness. It's the quiet confidence that life knows what it's doing. And in that surrender, in that trust, we finally discover the peace that has been waiting for us all along.